Right? Want to get past all the tech jargon and get to the good stuff? You've come to the right place.
Yeah, we're going to break it all down, especially what's coming up in 2024 and 2025.
Oh, perfect.
It's a really interesting area because it's not just making things easier, it's actually changing how software is developed.
Okay. So we've all heard the terms codeless automation and no-code revolution. But what does that actually mean? Like, can people really just automate these complex tasks without knowing any code at all?
Yeah, you really hit the nail on the head there.
Okay.
The real key to codeless automation is that it empowers anyone to contribute to software testing.
Okay.
You don't need to know how to code to do it.
Gotcha.
So it's like saying, if you wanted to build a robot before, you'd need to understand electronics and wires and circuitry and things like that. But with codeless automation, it's all visual interfaces.
Oh, cool.
You're dragging and dropping and connecting things.
So it's like building with those really fancy adult Lego sets. You don't need to be an engineer to create something really cool.
And that's what makes it a game changer.
Okay.
Because in the past, you would have needed these, specialized automation engineers that would cost a company a ton of money.
Right, yeah.
But with codeless tools, now anyone on the team can do this.
Wow. So are you saying that companies can ditch those expensive engineers altogether?
Well, it's not about completely getting rid of those skilled engineers. It's more about freeing them up.
Okay.
Letting them focus on the more complex things and empowering others to handle the more routine tasks.
Okay. So it's like having an extra set of hands that know how to run all these repetitive tests without needing to be constantly supervised.
Yeah.
That's got to be a huge time saver.
Absolutely. Time is money, especially in the tech world.
For sure.
And so codeless automation just streamlines everything, making the whole testing process faster.
Okay.
And that means faster development cycles, quicker releases, and just better software overall.
Yeah, because in today's world, everyone wants the latest update like yesterday.
Yeah.
So that speed is a big advantage, right?
Huge advantage.
Makes me wonder, if we're just learning about this now, how many companies are already using these tools and are way ahead of the game?
A lot. And that's why we're here to explain it.
That's awesome. Okay, so you've sold me on the what. Let's talk about the how.
Sure.
What are some of the top codeless automation tools that are out there? What should people be looking at, especially in 2024 and 2025?
Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of tools out there, and they all kind of have their own strength.
Okay.
One example is Catalan Studio.
Okay, I've heard of that one.
And that's known for its versatility. You can use it for web mobile API testing. It handles pretty much everything.
So it's like the Swiss Army knife of testing tools.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
What about Testcraft? I've heard that one uses AI to maintain tests. Is that right?
It does. It's very futuristic, actually. Yeah. So Testcraft uses artificial intelligence to keep your tests in sync with your application as it changes.
Wow.
So imagine you make a change to your website's design. Testcraft can automatically adjust the test script so you don't have to go back and update everything manually.
Wow, that's impressive. So we've got Catalan, which is like the Swiss Army knife, and then Testcraft, which is like the AI sidekick that knows what you're going to do next.
That's a great analogy.
All right, so what else is out there?
So there's also Ranorex, which is known for being really user-friendly.
Oh, nice.
Especially for beginners, and it gives you these super detailed reports.
Oh, that's handy.
Yeah. And then there's Leapwork, which uses this visual flowchart approach.
Okay.
So you're basically building a visual map of your tests.
So is it kind of like playing a video game?
It is. It's very intuitive.
Cool.
And it makes it easy to understand even really complex scenarios.
Oh, awesome. All right. What about Functionize?
Yeah.
They use machine learning for self-healing tests, right? What is that? Are my tests suddenly Wolverine?
Well, not quite Wolverine.
Okay, good, because that would be terrifying.
But Functionize is really interesting because it actually learns from your testing patterns. And then it can adapt to changes in your application.
So like, let's say a button moves on my website.
Exactly.
Does the test just figure it out?
It would recognize that the button moved and adjust itself to keep working.
Wow. So it's like, it's actually thinking.
Yeah. It's some very next level stuff.
Okay, I'm loving this.
Yeah.
All right. What else is on our list of codeless superstars?
Let's see, we've got Ghost Inspector, which is known for being very simple, especially for web applications.
Right.
And it's got this really cool record and playback feature.
What's that?
So you can create tests without any coding at all.
Oh, wow.
You just record what you're doing and then it turns it into a test.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
All right. And what about Udify?
Yeah, Udify is another one that uses a lot of AI.
Okay, so we're seeing a trend here.
Definitely.
Is AI just becoming like the backbone of all this codeless automation?
It really is because it automates so much of the process.
Right.
It creates the tests for you. It updates them.
Oh, wow.
It saves a ton of time and resources, especially for apps that are constantly being updated
Yeah.
with really complex interfaces.
Okay, cool. So are there any other tools we should mention before we move on?
Yeah, there's a couple more. UiPath is a big one.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of that.
It's mainly known for robotic process automation.
Mm-hmm.
But it's got some really great codeless testing features, too.
So it's like a multitasking master,
Pretty much.
automating all these business processes, but it's also great at testing.
Exactly. And then there's TOSCA,
Okay.
which uses a keyword-driven approach to simplify test creation.
Okay.
So again, you don't need to be a coding whiz to use it.
You don't need to write a novel's worth of code.
Exactly.
Gotcha. All right, what about ACSIL-Q?
Yes. ACSIL-Q is another one that's very interesting.
Cool.
It's cloud-based.
Nice.
And it uses things like self-healing automation and really detailed analytics.
Okay, so we're seeing this self-healing thing pop up again.
Yeah, it's a really popular feature.
Is that like the holy grail of codeless testing?
I think it's getting there. Because it uses AI to keep your tests accurate even when your application is changing.
Right.
And then those analytics help you see where you can improve.
Cool. Okay, last but not least, what about Selenium IDE and AutoMagic Q? What makes those stand out?
All right, so Selenium IDE, that's a classic choice for testing web apps.
Yeah.
It's known for being simple and easy to use.
Okay.
It's great for beginners.
Gotcha.
And then AutoMagic Q that focuses on continuous engineering.
What does that mean?
So it integrates really smoothly into your existing workflows
Okay.
and helps streamline that entire testing process.
So if Selenium IDE is like the reliable veteran of the group,
Yeah.
then AutoMagic Q is like the smooth operator who keeps everything running like a well-oiled machine.
I like that analogy.
Awesome.
So those are some of the top codeless automation tools out there.
Wow. It's incredible how many different tools there are. It's like we've got a buffet of automation options.
There are a lot of options.
Yeah. But with so much going on in this field right now, where do you see it headed in the next few years? What's the future of codeless automation?
You know, that's a great question, and it's really interesting to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is fascinating when you think about the bigger picture here, because we rely on software for pretty much everything these days.
Right.
Healthcare, finance, transportation, it's all built on code.
Yeah. It's like our whole world runs on code now.
Exactly, and that means the need for quality and security that just keeps getting bigger.
So if codeless automation is the key to making sure all that code is rock solid, it's kind of a big deal.
It is a huge deal, and what's really exciting is that it's not just for those big tech companies anymore.
Oh, really?
Codeless automation is becoming accessible to all sorts of organizations, big and small, across pretty much every industry.
So even small businesses and startups can get in on the action.
Absolutely. It really levels the playing field.
That's awesome because it means they can compete with those big companies without needing a huge team of engineers.
Exactly. And as this whole no-code movement keeps growing, we're going to see even more innovation in codeless automation.
Like what kind of innovation?
Well, think about tools that are even easier to use,
Okay.
even more powerful, and even more intelligent.
Okay, now my mind is racing. We've got AI-powered testing, no-code platforms popping up everywhere.
It's a lot to take in.
It is. What does all this mean for the future of work, though? Are robots coming to steal our jobs?
That's the big question, right?
It is.
And, you know, some people are worried that all this automation, including codeless automation, will lead to people losing their jobs.
Yeah, which is a valid concern.
It is, but there's also a flip side to that.
Okay, what's that?
A lot of people see this as an opportunity to learn new skills
Okay.
and to focus on those higher value tasks that require creativity and human ingenuity.
So the things that robots can't do.
Exactly. Think about it. If machines can handle all those boring, repetitive tasks, that frees us up to do the more strategic and innovative work.
So it's not really about humans versus robots. It's more like humans and robots working together
Exactly.
to achieve things that we couldn't do before.
Precisely. And that collaboration is going to change the way we think about work in the future.
And the skills that we need to succeed.
Definitely.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
We talked about the benefits of codeless automation, explored all sorts of cool tools, and even peeked into the future of work. What stands out to you the most in all of this?
I think for me, it's the democratizing power of codeless automation.
What do you mean by that?
It's about breaking down those technical barriers and making technology more accessible to everyone.
I like that.
It's like giving everyone a voice, empowering them to create and innovate no matter what their background is or how much technical expertise they have.
And ultimately it's about building a better future for all of us.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, but before we get too carried away with all this positivity, are there any downsides or challenges to codeless automation that we need to be aware of?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's important to remember that no technology is perfect.
Right.
One potential challenge is vendor lock-in.
Vendor lock-in.
So some codeless platforms are designed to only work within their own ecosystem,
Okay.
which could limit your options later on.
So it's like you're stuck in a walled garden.
Exactly. You're enjoying the convenience, but you might not have the freedom to explore other options if you need to.
Gotcha. So what else should we be careful of?
Security is another big one.
Okay.
While a lot of these platforms prioritize security, there's always a chance for vulnerabilities.
Yeah, especially as these tools get more complex.
Exactly. So you need to be careful, stay up to date on best practices, and make sure your systems are protected.
Okay, good advice. But it's not all doom and gloom, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the exciting things happening in codeless automation right now?
Well, one of the most promising areas is the use of AI and machine learning.
Yeah, we talked about that a bit.
We're seeing tools that can generate test cases, automatically predict bugs, and even optimize how tests are run. This means faster testing cycles and more reliable results.
So it's like having a virtual assistant that's constantly learning and getting better.
Exactly, and it frees up human testers to focus on the more complex stuff.
The stuff that AI can't handle yet.
Right. And another exciting development is the rise of low-code platforms.
No code.
Yeah, it's kind of like a middle ground between traditional coding and codeless solutions.
Okay.
They let you customize things with a little bit of code, giving you more control and flexibility.
So low code is like a stepping stone for people who want to try coding without diving in head first.
That's a great way to put it. And as these low-code platforms get more advanced, we're probably going to see the line between codeless and low-code start to blur.
So it's not an either-or situation.
Yep.
It's more like a spectrum of options.
Exactly. You choose the right tool for the job.
Gotcha, like choosing the right tool in a toolbox.
Exactly. And as the whole codeless automation landscape continues to evolve, it's going to be really interesting to see how these tools change the way we build and use software.
Yeah, for sure. But before we wrap up this part of our deep dive,
Yeah.
I know you have a thought-provoking question for us.
I do.
All right, hit me with it. All right, lay it on us. What's the question? What's going to keep me up all night?
Well, as these no-code platforms keep getting bigger and as AI becomes a bigger part of everything, how might that change things?
Okay.
Not just software testing, but like other industries too.
Oh, wow.
Like healthcare, education, even art and entertainment. What happens when those two forces really combine?
Wow, yeah. That's a question that could keep us talking for hours.
For sure.
But you've already given us a lot to think about.
Yeah.
It seems like codeless automation is this huge wave that's just starting to build.
And we're just seeing the beginning.
So for our listeners who want to learn more about this, where should they start?
Well, we've got tons of resources in the show notes.
Oh, perfect.
Links to articles and reports, even some tutorials if you want to get hands-on.
Awesome. So it's like we're giving everyone the keys to the codeless kingdom. Go explore. But remember, this is a field that's always changing. So keep learning. Stay curious.
Who knows? Maybe you'll be the one building the next big codeless tool.
That's a great point. All right, everyone, then thanks for tuning in to our deep dive on codeless automation.
It's been fun.
Yeah, this is a topic that's only going to get bigger and more important. So stay tuned for more deep dives in the future.
And until then, keep exploring.
Keep innovating.
And keep on diving deep.